we're going to look at how do you actually extract a column. And you can do that with square brackets. So it should be the case that if you do Titanic underscore DF square bracket, the string that says survived, that this extracts the survived column. Try it and see if my memory is right. So you should see a list and it should tell you 1 or 0, depending on whether or not that individual survived. 1 being survived, yep. So if we wanted to know, now we can start stringing these things together. What would happen if we did Titanic underscore DF string survived dot sum? It'll be the total that survived, because what's happening here is we're getting 1 if it survived. Then if you do summed, this will give you the total number of people who survived. What happens if instead of calling sum, I call mean for the average value? It'll give you the survival rate. It'll give you the proportion, because it's going to take all the ones and divide it by the total number. It'll give you the percentage. So this is a cool little trick. If you're dealing with a binary classification variable, you can see the proportions by slicing the column you're looking at. As long as it's 0 or 1, this works well. And then calling dot mean parentheses. This will give you the total proportion of the passengers who survived. I remember little things like this by heart, and the rest of it I usually have to look up. We're going to then start extracting just particular pieces of the data frame, and we're going to look at their survival percentages based on different attributes. Now we're going to work on filtering by the columns. So there are 2 ways you can get at this. I'm going to show both of them because I don't think one is better than the other. But what is a particular P-class value that you see? 3. And we're going to look at P-class, and what we're going to ask is for the P-class values. Okay, what if we put the equal outside of it? So what is this giving you? It gives you a list of true or false. So this is a Boolean list, and this tells you whether or not that particular person's P-class was in fact equal to 3, right? Now wait for it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pass this in as a filter to my data frame so that I only get the entries where this attribute is what's happening. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to use this to filter, which means that we have this syntax, Titanic underscore DF square brackets. Now if I put something in here, this means I want you to extract it. What I want you to extract is all of the things where this, so I'm going to plug in this logical condition into my extractor syntax. You do for the P-class still. So then this is going to have, because you have Titanic DF square bracket, Titanic DF square bracket, and then the fun starts. So we can do a further command, which is Titanic underscore DF, and then we can do our Boolean filter here, Titanic underscore DF P-class equal 3, and then on the same line, but I can't write it on the same line because I run out of room, I can call survived. What that does is that extracts all of the entries where the P-class is equal to 3 and only takes their survived value. It should be typed directly afterwards. So you should have this right square bracket followed by this left square bracket. Call the mean, and that'll give us the percentage of people who were in the 3rd class who survived. And then we can do the same thing for the other P-class values, and that'll tell us the percentage of people from the different classes who survived. Yeah. There's a way to see what all of the values are for P class. I think it might be if you did. See, this is one of the things I usually end up Google searching. If you want to see the unique things, you can Titanic underscore P class dot unique, and that'll just tell you what the different possible values. If there are only a handful of them, it doesn't work. If there are only a handful of them, this does work. If there are like 800 different ones, not very helpful. So let's look at that. What was the So that's helpful information. It tells us something about the structure of Titanic survival. Higher class ticket passengers were more likely to survive. So we could do this analysis with any of the other variables that were categorical in nature, right? The other thing we can do